Denmark and to Copenhagen. I know that Danes and Denmark and Copenhageners will welcome you just as they welcome me.
Allow me, in wrapping this up, to take the opportunity to thank Pride Fort Lauderdale for being great friends in the months since you officially entered the race for World Pride. This friendship between us shows the strength of our community, that we can compete and still be friends and remain united in our common cause. Thank you very much for that. You to seek out the Copenhagen delegation here in India, including the official representatives for both the cities of Copenhagen and Malmö. We're all easily recognizable, except for me, but easily recognizable by our Copenhagen 2021 logos. Please, if you have questions, you want any of our room numbers, or if you actually want to hear more about our bid, come outside and feel free to ask. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I ask again that you all vote for Copenhagen in 2021.
Greetings all. I'd like to give our two bidders one more huge round of applause. You have truly given us all a very difficult decision. Before we proceed to question and answers, I need to let you guys know if we begin now, we will go over time. So we do have a break immediately following this that we can cut into for around 15 minutes to allow both prides to answer the question and answers.
Okay.
Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Second.
Any debate? None. All in favor? Show of hands. Excellent. Some concerns were brought to me before we go into there. I'm going to have one small comment that I feel needs to be clarified. Some concerns were brought to me about the trans question and the explanation of the trans question. So I apologize if there was a miscommunication. We have had, for probably the last 10 years, before I came back to the board 7 years ago, we have had the word identified in the position. So male identified, female identified, as it refers to co-president or vice presidents. That has been, as Jean-Seb pointed out, we have had people serving in those roles. The problem is that leaves out gender non-conforming, non-binary trans people. And that's why we were to add a vice president of operations trans. So they could be male identified trans, female identified trans, gender non-conforming, gender queer, doesn't matter. Any person who self-identifies as trans can run for the trans vice president. The point I was trying to make is there is no such rule for the highest office, that of co-president. And that's what we'll be voting for at this plenary when we vote tomorrow. So I'm sorry if there was confusion. A lot of people were going back and forth. This organization is very committed to trans inclusion, and I want to make sure everybody understands that. Excellent. Thanks to all of you. I'm going to hand it back to Alan to do question and answers for the bids.
Okay, so just to remind everyone, it's 10 minutes of questioning for each Pride organization, and try to make your questions as succinct and as precise as you can, as well as with your answers. Here we're looking for a clear response rather than a long drawing. So we'll start with Fort Lauderdale, if there's a representative who'd like to come up here to take their questions. And I guess we'll start timing from the moment the first question is asked.
Okay. Hello, how are you?
Hi. How are you?
Very good. The fun microphone thing, huh?
Okay, tell me your question.
Congratulations on your presentation.
We do need a microphone.
We're going to the
Perfect. Here we are. So in your wonderful presentation, I saw the budget, I saw the marketing budget, but I didn't see the Human Rights Conference budget, let alone the scholarship information, etc., which is fundamental. So if you could explain that.
Absolutely. First and foremost, as our budget goes, it is detailed in our budget book, in our book in the with everything broken out. We have dedicated at least $50,000 US to our conference, but in addition to that, that's not just going to be spent on space. A lot of this is going to be donated, so this is in addition to that. So we'll have the availability to work with Lauderdale University, possibly University of Miami, other universities in our area that will work with us specifically addressing those issues. And the other one, as far as scholarships are concerned, believe me, I've seen a lot of people have hard times trying to get to these. That's a passion of mine. We have not created something as of yet, but we will address it and try to find a sponsor to help us make that happen. So, but it's important.
When we organized World Pride in Toronto, one of our big challenges was visas, and in the end we were successful. What is your strategy to make sure that people from Africa, from Asia, Latin America, Eastern Europe can actually attend?
Well, that's a phenomenal question. Especially since the first thing we were saying is that we are the gateways of Latin America. So, that being said, 4 years is a long time, and a lot of things can change in 4 years. What we have right now will most likely not ever happen again, not unless we get drunk and crazy and do something stupid again. But the situation we have in this country, again, that's for now. For the future, though, if we were to end up with something like we have now, we do have very close connections, and I guess, JW, you can even help me with that.
Yeah. We've been working with our congressional delegation, and they've assured us their complete support in helping to pave the way should any issues arise. And so we're very confident that should the time come, with proper planning and attentiveness and the efforts of our team to stay on top of this issue for our guests, and we're not going to have any trouble because 4 years is a long time.
Given that your current Pride hosts about 40,000 people, is that correct? What is your plan to expand to have such a significantly larger amount of people to be able to handle that mass amount of people coming in?
That is a great question. And believe me, that's not something that we take lightly. Our plan is to work with our local prides. When you combine the efforts of our local prides together, they represent nearly 400,000 people. In addition to that, we believe that we'll have more support, obviously, because if we sandwich, for example, Miami Beach, which is, we've talked with about doing the first weekend, and then we would be the second weekend, we would really bring a lot of people to the community for an entire week, thereby exposing more people to the Human Rights Conference that would usually not have a chance to because they've just come in for the weekend. This is not a party, guys. This is a meaningful event, and that's something that we feel strongly about.
years is a long time to do an outreach, but in the other end is also a very short time. We need to see a concrete strategic plan that will be inclusive, especially people from Africa, from Asia, and from all over the world. Because diversity inclusion is the passion work. We need to see the concrete strategic plan. Thank you.
Actually, I resemble the remark of being a diverse individual. I was brought up in a Cuban household with my father, who at times didn't believe that gay people were good, at least until he realized his son was, and then he was completely supportive. Sometimes we are fortunate enough to have those situations, but many of us are not. And when I speak of diversity in our community, it's one of the few places in the world you could literally drive a couple of miles and be in a completely different place where people speak different languages. We see that every day, and we know it better than anyone. And our own mayor may even be able to speak to the diversity of our culture in South Florida.
Thank you. I just want to add to the earlier question, we've hosted festivals with millions of people on our beach. The Tortuga Festival was one of the festivals that you saw up there, as with many, many others. We're prepared and we're equipped to handle millions of tourists at one time. In addition to that, visas have never been an issue for Fort Lauderdale. We have one of the most diverse communities. Like I said before, over 100 languages spoken. People from over 100 cultures live in Fort Lauderdale, Great Fort Lauderdale. They'll welcome you, and I'll welcome you. And so
with InterPride. I appreciate the theme of inclusion and welcoming all that was throughout your presentation. Can you specifically speak to accessibility for all in regards to a beach proposed location?
Absolutely. Thank you for asking. It's one of the great things about our community that we've been able to get together and create a transportation that we actually already have to deal with that just locally as far as transportation to get to the beach. I know with the mayor, you actually, yeah, I want you to grab it.
Okay, so what we have in Broward County is we have several modes of transportation. When we have festivals such as this, we open our buses, and our buses run up and down our beachfront, US 1A1A. We have articulated buses that hold 100 people at a time, some of them 200 depending on the size, and we go up and down A1A and we get people where they need to go for free. Additionally to that, we have our Tri-Rail train station. If you choose to stay in Miami, Palm Beach, we can bring you up on our Tri-Rail station, and we have other methods of transportation like our Fort Lauderdale downtown trolley, which will take you around the beach as well, and our water taxis. So we have a number of transportation options for you on our beach. Thank you.
I think I need to offer a bit of clarification. When I say accessibility, I mean accessibility for those with increased mobility. Not necessarily.
We have our TOPS transportation service. We have special buses that are equipped to handle them. We have additionally individual vehicles that are equipped to handle them, and taxi cabs as well. So we do very well in terms of accessibility and get them where they need to go.
And just want to piggyback on that. I'm very proud to say you can check our Facebook page. We had a comment after our Pride. We covered a lot of the beach with ADA matting to allow people to actually get on the beach and enjoy it. And there was one thing, and it touches my heart because it's a lot of work to put those mats down, and we did it ourselves the first time. Never again, we'll hire somebody, but I want to tell you, we have a guy on our Facebook page that said it was the first time he's been a resident in Fort Lauderdale forever. It was the first time he was ever on the beach in his wheelchair. That means a lot.
Environmentally at the festival.
Okay, so this is where this is one of the exciting things I like. We have an amazing community, an amazing ecology. There you go, an amazing ecology. We have our sea turtles, which are in season half the year, and we're very, very protective of that. One of the reasons you got Sunny the sea turtle was to let you know that is something that we protect. We will make sure that we engage the community, the people visiting, and more about these different things going on. And here, the mayor's a little better.
All right. So the first thing we have is we have a trash committee, which is 1, we do the trash awareness. 2, we set up the trash cans on the beach. 3, you will not get a plastic straw on our beach for your drinks. 4, we don't serve glass bottles. 5, during the concerts or during your the festivities, we have people that are constantly cleaning up our beach to make sure that we respect our environment. And other than that, like I said, Broward County is very, very engaged with preservation of our environment. Thank you.
And recycling as well is a requirement on our beaches. So, I'm sorry.
For those of us who come from outside of the U.S., there's been a lot of attention on American gun laws in light of what has happened recently. And I know Florida doesn't necessarily have the most restrictive gun laws in the U.S. What can you say about worries and fears given recent mass shootings and stuff like that?
That's very Captain Schultz has run up, and I hope you'll give us 30 seconds more because he's more equipped to handle that question. Run, please.
You can run.
Is the membership okay with just allowing a brief answer to this question?
Yes!
We've had this question before because in the United States, and each state has the ability to make their own gun laws. In Florida, we do not allow open carry of weapons in Florida. Further, whenever you have a festival or an event, we set our standards for that. There are venues in Florida where I cannot carry my gun. Many venues, actually. When I go to a sporting event, when I go to a festival. So I assure you, every event that we do, it's going to be taken very seriously and taken into consideration, and it's already a part of our planning.
And I just want to add that with our festivals, especially the ones that are held on the beach, Captain Schultz does an amazing job at making sure that there are no arrests. Do you hear me? 0 arrests. And there are some people that need to be arrested, but they are not arrested at our festivals because they are trained to deal with intoxication and unruly and disorderly conduct. And I think that they've done an amazing job. And I flew up here because I support them and I know that we can bring it forward.
You can come talk to me at any time. I want to answer them, please.
So if you have your questions for this night we're working with our students, let's line up down front here. And again, we'll start the clock when the first question is asked. Copenhagen.
And just really for your information, I brought with me the head of conferences in the Copenhagen Tourist Office, Keith Lukatov, and the representative from the city of Copenhagen, Jesper, who we met the other day, just to know who's here on stage.
Hi, Hanson. Watching your presentation, we saw that fantastic impressive budget of $14+ million. What portion of that is going to Eurogames? What portion of that is going to Human Rights Conference? And what is going to festival?
It's not about 40 million, it's 40 million, of which 7% is the outreach budget, the 1.1 million. 50% of the budget is approximately Eurogames and 50% WorldPride. And what was your last question? There was something more. Oh, Human Rights Conference. We made our budget in Danish kroners, therefore our figures are a little bit uneven in dollars. But the budget figure for the Human Rights Conference is $516,000.
My question is still around diversity and inclusion once again. So when we're talking about diversity and inclusion, and that question hasn't been responded by Fort Lauderdale. So my question is, what will be your outreach strategies to bring people from Africa, from Asia, from all over the world to Copenhagen? It's not about people already living in Copenhagen. It's people who are coming from outside of Copenhagen to represent the diversity and inclusion. Thank you. So what would be your outreach strategies?
Okay, I will not go into too much detail on it, but just tell you that in the binder in our booth, you will find both our visa strategy written out, very detailed, and also the stipulations for granting scholarships from the scholarship fund. So I will not go into too much detail with that. But first of all, the scholarship fund is there to ensure that we can have global representation. And we're expecting 400 full scholarships, and they can be divided up in half and quarter depending on people's needs. So we can bring in a lot of people on those scholarships. But in order to access that program, we need to promote it. So we have a promotional program set up, or we will have, but we're planning it, to have a promotional program set up to actually inform people that there is this chance to access World Pride 2021 through the scholarship program. And we've already partnered up. We have seen the Asian, if you look at the Pride map outside, Asia is also one of the challenged areas where we don't have so many Prides represented. So we have already partnered up with an internet company in China that will help us reach the Chinese market to bring in also people from Asia.
All right, I'm going to ask you guys to just hold your applause to the end so we can get through this very quickly, and we're on to the next question.
I have the same question. What is your sustainability plan?
Yeah, and maybe yes, we can expand a little bit on that. We are already a very sustainable festival. We separate garbage. We try to, for example, not give out bottles and that sort of thing. And we work with the city of Copenhagen, who has the whole city has the ambition to, in 2021, be carbon free or carbon footprint free. And as part of that aspiration, we are of course part of it as the biggest festival in Copenhagen. Do you have anything to add to that?
I can add to that you will probably have a sustainable stay in Copenhagen, whether you ask for it or not, because most of the capacity in Copenhagen is actually already sustainable.
I just wanted to know what you're planning to do to make it clear that this is a World Pride event, to make sure that the World Pride branding is incorporated into it. A lot of the things that you showed were Copenhagen Pride, and the World Pride branding was really lost, and that's something we've developed over years.
Yes, that's something we have deliberately done out of respect for both, because we've already rolled out our marketing of our bid, and out of respect for Madrid that hosted World Pride 2017 and Stonewall 50 in 2019, we will add the World Pride brand and Eurogames brand to the logo when we take it over. But we will not, by our promotion, start piggybacking on another event. So out of respect, we pulled a little bit back. So if you don't see World Pride very clearly in our logo now, that will be rolled out once we are the next World Pride. The logos are already made and ready.
Seeing no other questions, back to Alan.
We will vote for World Pride tomorrow. Take this opportunity this evening to speak to all the delegations on both sides. And just as a closing note, the past couple of months working with both of these bidding organizations has been a joy. They are professional. They both have worked very hard on their bids, and they both deserve a round of applause for the amount of work that they have done. And whoever wins this bid will do honor to this organization.
Okay. All right, moving on. We have a super fast presentation of the bylaws and standing rules that are coming to you for a vote. It should take not very long, and then we'll run to the next thing.
All right, so I will flood tomorrow morning at 8:30 in the morning during the workshops. Andrew, my co-chair, wherever he is. He's not up here, he's out there. Andrew, my co-chair, and I will be hosting a